Hello, Kentucky friends. Mark Sears compares Mo Dioubate to Dennis Rodman. A skilled Dennis Rodman. What now? No one expected this, and now we have a great guy in Kentucky? Wow, let's analyze the news. Kentucky basketball is about to enter a new era, and if we're going by the words of those who have seen Mo Dioubate in action, the future is bright. He comes to the program after a remarkable season at Alabama, carrying with him accolades that border on the extraordinary. Comparing him to Dennis Rodman, one of the greatest rebounders and defenders in NBA history, may sound like an exaggeration at first glance. However, when Mark Sears makes this analogy during the NBA Combine, he's not just making a casual comment. He's projecting the potential of a player who, while still on the rise, has already shown that he has the tools to be something special. Dioubate was a thorn in the Wildcats' side last season. In 3 games against Kentucky, he showed his versatility with solid numbers, averaging 8.3 points and 7.3 rebounds per game. But the numbers are only part of the story. His presence on the court was felt in decisive moments, especially in the SEC tournament, where his 13 points and 8 rebounds were crucial to Alabama's triumph. Even more impressive was his performance against Houston, when he came away with 16 rebounds, including 5 offensive ones, proving that his ability to dominate the paint goes beyond his imposing physique. This combination of strength, aggression, and game intelligence led Grant Nelson, his Alabama teammate, to describe him as relentless, and to highlight that he single-handedly won some of the biggest games of the year. But what makes Dioubate so special is not just his ability to control the boards or neutralize opponents defensively, as he did when he neutralized Owe in Tuscaloosa. It is the still unexplored dimension of his offensive game that intrigues and excites fans and pundits alike. Mark Sears was emphatic in stating that Dioubate has more game than he showed at Alabama. He mentioned his physical strength to penetrate opposing defenses, his surprising ball control for someone his height, and even his accuracy on three-point shots, 46.2% last season. This suggests that we are looking at a complete player, capable of developing even more under the right guidance. And few places in the country offer such a conducive environment for development as Kentucky basketball. In Mark Pope, Dioubate will find not only a distinguished coach, but also a system that seems tailor-made for his characteristics. Like Nate Oates at Alabama, Pope adopts a dynamic style of play, based on quick transitions, efficient shooting, and relentless control of the paint. For a player like Dioubate, whose competitive DNA drives him to fight for every possession, this represents the perfect opportunity to shine. Pope, in fact, did not hide his excitement when talking about the newcomer, revealing that he believes he will be the player who surprises fans the most this season. During a recorded conversation, the coach shared a touching story about meeting Dioubate's mother in New York, underscoring how deeply the family understands the significance of joining a program with the prestige and tradition of Kentucky. It is impossible not to be excited about the impact Dioubate can have on the team. He does not come from just any program, but from an Alabama that recently reached the Final Four and Elite Eight, proof that it has competed at a high level. However, the jump to Kentucky represents something bigger, the chance to be part of a culture that values absolute excellence. As Pope put it, Dioubate will absorb everything the program has to offer, from its winning mentality to its insatiable passion for the game. This combination of individual talent and a supportive environment creates the perfect conditions for him to become a star. Kentucky fans can expect a player who not only fills the role of a worker, as evidenced by his 9-time Alabama Straw Hat Award, but who will also add layers to his game. Whether it's running in transition, hitting outside shots, or leading the pack with his relentless energy, Dioubate has the potential to be a mainstay on this team in 2025. And if Sears and Pope's predictions are correct, he won't just be another name on the long list of Kentucky greats. He'll be remembered for being a great guy now at Kentucky. Mark Pope is not the kind of coach who settles for almost, even after a rookie season at Kentucky that many would consider successful, including an all-time winning streak against teams ranked in the top 15 and a berth in the Sweet 16. For the first time since 2019, he sees room for improvement, and one of those areas that bothered him the most was the team's three-point shooting, not just in terms of efficiency, where the team was among the top 30 in the country, but especially in terms of attempted volume. The Wildcats fell short of the ambitious goal of 30 or even 35 attempts per game, finishing with just 25. For Pope, that five-shot deficit per game represents something bigger than numbers on a spreadsheet. It's a reflection of flaws in coaching and strategies implemented throughout the season. He even self-deprecatingly admitted as much, acknowledging that there was poor coaching in some areas. However, this criticism is not made out of despair or frustration, but rather from the pragmatic mindset of someone determined to correct mistakes and take the program to the next level. The issue goes beyond simply encouraging players to shoot more threes. The problem, as Pope explained, was multifaceted. Injuries have affected the team's consistency, especially on the perimeter, where they needed confident players capable of handling that offensive responsibility. Adapting to a new system has also presented challenges for both the players and the coaching staff. Additionally, the roster construction may not have been optimal to maximize the style of play Pope wanted to implement. These factors, combined, have created a gap between the initial plan and the final execution. But Pope is not one to dwell on the past. He is focused on the future and sees these obstacles as opportunities for growth. During the off-season, he and his staff took a hard look at what worked and what didn't work from last season. His pride in the team's overall performance is evident, but the coach also knows that the little things, like those 5 fewer shots per game, can make all the difference when it comes to competing for a national title. And those are the details he's focusing his efforts on. One of the most important lessons Pope has taken away from his freshman experience is the importance of balancing individuality with teamwork. He recognizes that to make it to Kentucky, players need to be obsessed with their own development. It's that competitive, selfish mindset, in a good way, that makes them special. But success at a program like Kentucky depends on turning that personal obsession into collective sacrifice. As a basketball player, the only reason you're here is because you're completely obsessed with your own development and personal growth, Pope said. But it's that personal sacrifice here that's so big. That philosophy will be further emphasized in Pope's second off-season. He wants to make sure the group not only understands the system of play, but also creates genuine bonds within the locker room. The idea is that by knowing and trusting each other, players will be more likely to make informed decisions during games, including knowing when to shoot a three-pointer or when to pursue other offensive options. Another point Pope made was the need to adjust the tactical plan to encourage more long-range attempts without compromising the quality of the plays. This involves not only training players to be more assertive, but also creating offensive schemes that create more clear-cut opportunities for three-pointers. He noted that he has already identified some solutions to the problems faced last year and is confident that the team will be better prepared to deal with adversity next season. The ultimate goal, of course, is to hang another banner at Rupp Arena. For Pope, there is no middle ground. Kentucky exists to win championships. While their first season was promising, it served mainly as a valuable learning experience in what it takes to reach that level. The Wildcats came close, but close is not good enough. Every detail matters, and the pursuit of continuous improvement is what defines elite programs. With Mo Dioubate joining to bolster the big man and other roster adjustments being made, Pope seems optimistic about the future. He knows the team's potential is enormous, and that with the right adjustments, they can overcome the limitations that prevented them from reaching their full potential last year. The hard work has begun, and Pope is determined to make 2025 even better. After taking over in 2024, Pope faced the challenge of building a competitive roster, in a recruiting landscape that was new to the transfer portal and the new NIL. Within weeks, he had already assembled a team that took the Wildcats to the Sweet 16 last season. Now, with more time, a healthy NIL budget and a clear vision, Pope has raised the bar, building one of the most complete rosters in recent program history, featuring 10 newcomers and 4 returning players who are already familiar with the Cats jersey. Pope's ability to recruit goes beyond simply seeking raw talent. During a recent interview on Kentucky Sports Radio with Matt Jones, the coach detailed his meticulous approach, which balances physical fitness, technical skills, and, above all, a genuine connection to the unique culture of Kentucky basketball. For Pope, recruiting isn't just about numbers or highlights. It's about finding players who understand and embrace what it means to play for one of the most iconic programs in college basketball. He described times when he talks to a recruit and quickly senses whether the player aligns with the program's values. "This is a very, very special place," Pope said, noting that some athletes, no matter how talented, simply don't fit into Kentucky's intense and passionate environment. You can love their talent, but you're like, "He's not going to make it here." A prime example of this approach is Andrija Jelavic, a Croatian center who still plays for KK Mega Superbet in Serbia. Even without an in-person visit to campus, Pope recognized something special about the player during a FaceTime call. As they discussed the possibility of Jelavic playing at Kentucky, the coach noticed the young man's genuine emotion when he talked about the program. "You could see him get emotional," Pope said. "I thought, this is it. This is our guy." That moment of connection, even from a distance, reinforces Pope's ability to identify not just talent, but also character and passion, traits essential to thriving in a place where pressure and expectation are constant. This recruiting philosophy reflects the essence of what Pope calls the Kentucky basketball experience. His first team, which made an indelible mark by reaching the Sweet 16, exemplified that connection. Players repeatedly expressed gratitude for being a part of the program, and the fans, known for their overwhelming passion, returned the affection. "Our players didn't miss it," Pope said, emphasizing how it's possible to come to Kentucky and, if you focus solely on yourself, miss the greatness of what the program represents. For him, the true magic of playing in Lexington is embracing the community, the history, and the responsibility that comes with wearing a Wildcats jersey. With 10 new faces on the roster, the upcoming season promises to be a milestone. The combination of promising freshmen, strategic transfers, and the leadership of 4 seniors creates a versatile team that is ready to compete at a high level. The NIL budget, which has proven to be a game-changer in the modern era of college basketball, has allowed Pope to attract talent who not only shines on the court, but also understands what it means to represent Kentucky. The ever-demanding fan base has reason to be optimistic. Pope's job isn't just about building a team. It's about being what Kentucky is to the culture in Lexington. What do you think? Let us know in the comments.